Hi everyone, here we are in my hometown of Mallacoota. You can see Cool's Inlet behind me. Way out behind me is actually a beautiful old boat called the Sea Mist, and that's the vessel that I used to go out fishing here on the lakes many years ago. Wow, like over 25 years ago. Whew. So on the way up here, I had a call from a woman who'd recently bought a boat, a 40-foot yacht. It was an early 90s model. She'd paid 50-something thousand for it. I'm being deliberately vague with the information here so it can't be attributed or reconnected to any one particular person, because this story gets pretty sad pretty quickly. So she called me up and she said, "Oh, look, the marina tells me that you're someone who can do boating instruction with me." I said, "Yeah, that's what we can do." And she said, "I've bought this yacht, it's 40 foot long. I paid 50-something thousand for it, and we haven't been able to do much with it because of the argument with the broker and what happened." So let me start to fill you in on the story without giving too much away. Okay, so she purchased the vessel. She felt like she was pushed into the sale by the broker and her now ex-partner, and they convinced her that getting this boat was a great idea. She didn't really understand what was involved in purchasing a boat, so she didn't request a survey. They provided her with a insurance risk assessment, which was done a couple of years beforehand. Because it was in the 5-year sort of grace period, I am assuming that the insurance company in question gave her an insurance on basis of that. The insurance company is an offshore insurance company. Once looked into, the insurance document really wasn't worth the paper it was written on, and getting a claim out of this company would have been near on impossible. She's tried to take legal action against the broker. The broker A broker has since been kicked out of his home marina because they got sick of dealing with all these complaints from customers. He's now shut up shop, and legend has it that he's basically taken quite a few deposits and pocketed people's monies and just disappeared. So, and by reputation, this broker is, notorious for doing these sorts of deals. Now, she's now at a point where she needs to get insurance for her vessel. So we've recommended getting a pre-purchase inspection or a complete condition report of the vessel. She's over it. She wants to sell the vessel. And she says, "I don't want to sell it in its current state because I couldn't do that to someone else." So once again, a good person's been taken advantage of by a very sketchy operator. So I said, "Look, I can come and have a look at the boat, look at it and see its readiness for seagoing service, and see if we can actually do instruction on it." I have my doubts, even just when she's saying, "Oh, this is wrong with it, this is wrong, this is not working, that's not working, this won't turn on." Once again, I'm being vague because the story can be linked back to something, and especially in this case, they are pursuing the broker. The broker's response was, "Well, she's not getting her money back." And I don't think they'll be able to pursue him, because once again, the onus on proving whether the vessel is of merchantable quality and fit for seagoing service is 100% on the buyer, from what I understand. And it's your choice to do a pre-purchase inspection or not. It's not a mandatory requirement in the sale of a vessel. It possibly should be. And this is the story. So this lady's in her 60s, and she had visions of having a liveaboard vessel. Not only that, but she also had visions of cruising the east coast of Australia. Now, they did have a insurance risk assessment done 3 years beforehand, 2022. Now, I looked at this insurance risk assessment. The insurance risk assessment should just be basically, this is what's on the boat, this is what's working, this is what you need to know as an insurer that is the requirements so you can insure it as an insurer. However, it was noted on the insurance risk assessment that this vessel seems to be a good coastal cruiser with liveaboard, with lovely antique interior, which makes it ideal for a liveaboard. And what is this? It had with heaps of gear on it, or heaps of equipment on it, heaps of equipment. Basically, the insurance risk assessment was written like it had been favourable to the broker and part of the broker's language. And it's pretty obvious, looking at the whole paper trail of this situation, that the broker had a working relationship with the on-site mechanic, and the on-site mechanic was writing off the insurance risk assessments, and it was all very, let's say, in-house. So it's obvious what's happened is this broker has been selling really substandard vessels, having them insured by this really loose offshore insurance company, just to get through them to the sale so they can get insurance and all that sort of thing, and not recommending they do, and people do pre-purchase inspections. Just another horror story, just another day in the office for me. And it seems to be, once again, we want to help this lady. I've recommended that she talk to the surveyor that we recommend to get a full condition report of the vessel so she knows what she's getting into. But once again, we're just in the position of trying to put together a shattered dream. And the broker in this stage, legend has it, has gone into the used car market. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Anyway, yeah, it's about a 60-40 split, guys. About 60% of the brokers couldn't lie straight in bed, and 40% of them are actually good and have a customer for life mentality. So find them. But when you do find a broker, get the background on the broker. Don't assume that this person is the oracle of all knowledge on boating. I'm certainly not the oracle of all knowledge on boating. However, I'm getting a bit frustrated and a bit annoyed with these stories, and the fact that I know this boat could be great. I haven't seen it yet, but I know this boat could be great. But what she's telling me, with things not working and the things that aren't working, leads me to believe that it's not been well looked after, and it's probably been rolled in glitter for sale. I'm just getting frustrated because it's relentless. It's just, there's not enough checks and balances in boating, and there's not enough what's the word I'm looking for? There's just not nearly enough pushback on these sellers. They can get away with pretty much anything. If you don't do your homework and you just go in all excited and get coerced into this sale, when we're doing our advocacy program with people, our buyer advocacy programs, we say to the dealers, when we take people down to look at boats, the dealers will be like, oh, look, you know, Bruce, Mary, if you want to give us your contact details, I can send you some stuff. And they just say, call Ned, talk to Ned, communicate through Ned and Greta. Because, yeah, it can be relentless depending on the broker. Some of them are quite nice and they just go, well, here's the information, it's yours to pick up what you want to do. But some of them are they'll just kick in your phone or kick in your email, or just virtually stop short of kicking in your door. Yeah, I know this is a bit, it's a bit potentially rubbing the industry up the wrong way a little bit, but I'm just done with having to put shattered dreams back together, and done with having to listen to these stories. I mean, this woman was nearly in tears by the time she ended a bloody 30-minute phone call with me. It's crazy. Think about that. She's been pushed into buying a boat that she thought it was what it wasn't, and now she's on the phone to me, borderline in tears. I can hear the croakiness in her voice and the sadness in the whole story. She bought it completely on lifestyle, and now she's got something that just not going to provide that at all. It's just crazy. Anyway, I don't know if this one will make it to air because it is a bit contentious, but I'm just done with listening to these stories of people just getting absolutely screwed over.